Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today, we're doing something a little different. We're taking a unique journey into Victorian poetry,
That's right.
specifically looking at two incredibly powerful, but really starkly contrasting works. We've got excerpts from James Thomson's The City of Dreadful Night and James Clarence Mangan's Dark Rosaleen.
Mm-hmm. Quite the pair.
So, our mission today is to kind of navigate these poetic landscapes. We want to pull out the key insights, the real nuggets of knowledge.
Yeah, give you a shortcut.
Exactly, a shortcut to understanding how these poets tackled, the extremes of human experience.
Yeah.
We're talking absolute despair on one side.
And this incredibly defiant hope on the other.
Right. Using these really vivid metaphors, these deeply personal journeys. The goal is you walk away not just informed, but maybe with a deeper sense of how these old verses connect to our world today.
It's a fascinating setup, really. We're about to dive into two, very different emotional and intellectual worlds.
Worlds, yeah.
And what's striking is how language, in the hands of these poets captures both the absolute darkest corners of the psyche and also these incredibly passionate declarations, loyalty, aspiration, that kind of thing.
And they were contemporaries, right? Writing around the same time.
They were,
Yeah.
which makes the contrast even more interesting. It's like they offer almost inverse reflections of the Victorian spirit. So
Yeah.
we'll explore the what they're saying and the why behind these verses.
Maybe the so what for us now.
Exactly. The so what is crucial.
Okay, let's start then. Let's unpack the first piece. James Thomson's The City of Dreadful Night.
Okay.
So picture this. It's described as this terrifying, surreal journey, like through a desert, but it's really reflecting an internal state, right? Utter desolation.
Mm-hmm. An internal landscape.
The poem kicks off with this really chilling scene. All was black. In heaven, no single star. On earth, no track. Total darkness. And the speaker encounters these monstrous creatures, something called a Sabbath of the Serpents, these huge apocalyptic storms, dreadful thunderbolts.
It's intense imagery.
Definitely.
Hmm.
But throughout all of this, the speaker keeps repeating this really striking, almost cold line. No hope could have no fear.
Ah, yes, that line.
So what's going on there? What's Thomson getting at? How does having absolutely no hope make you immune to fear?
Well, I think that phrase really reveals what you could call the stoicism of hopelessness.
Stoicism, okay.
Yeah, but it's not courage, not in the usual sense. It's more like
Right.
when you genuinely have absolutely nothing left to lose, not even, the possibility of things getting better.
Right.
Then fear just loses its power, its grip. It's this profound numbness, really, a detachment that comes from just complete desolation.
Wow.
And if you connect that to the bigger picture, the Victorian era, it's a powerful expression of that deep pessimism some felt. It goes beyond just sadness. It touches on, existential nihilism, this idea that maybe life has no inherent meaning.
That's heavy. So the journey continues, and there's a big shift, right? He reaches the seashore.
That's right, a wild seashore. And things get even stranger, almost cosmic.
How so?
The poem describes the sun burning out, becoming like a bleeding eyeless socket.
Oof.
Yeah. And the moon shifts abruptly. It's like the natural order, the cosmos itself, is broken or distorted.
And it's here, in this bizarre setting, that someone appears.
Yes, exactly. This is where it gets really interesting. A figure emerges. A woman.
Okay.
She's got a red lamp. She's bareheaded, barefooted. And our sources really emphasize the paradox here. She embodies both desolation and grace.
How can she be both?
Well, that's the puzzle. She's anguish and beauty at the same time. So the big question is, how does her appearance affect the speaker who is so detached, so numb?
Right, the one with no hope, no fear.
Her presence is the first thing that actually breaks through that. It shatters his emotional resolve.
What happened?
He collapses. The line is, he falls as on my bier, like collapsing onto his own coffin.
Whoa.
And then something impossible happens. The poem says, hope travailed with such fear.
Hope. Travailed. That sounds painful.
It is. Travailed suggests a really agonizing struggle, like childbirth almost. Hope, which was completely dead in him, is painfully, arduously reborn.
But alongside fear.
Exactly. It's reborn with this new, terrifying fear, because now, suddenly, there's something to potentially lose again, something to care about, the capacity for loss returns, and that makes existence even more agonizing in a way.
So it's not a simple return of hope. It's complicated.
Very complicated. and deeply psychological.
Which leads to the splitting of the self, right? The sources mentioned he becomes twain.
Yes, twain, meaning two distinct selves. There's the conscious I, the part that's watching, passive, detached, described as that cannot stir.
Just observing.
Right. And then there's the me, the physical body, the corporeal form, lying senseless, being tended to by this mysterious woman.
That's a profound split. What does the woman symbolize then?
Well, the symbolism gets deeper. She has a large black sign on her breast, a broad black band on her shroud. These marks suggest eternal mourning, maybe even damnation.
Okay.
And that red lamp she carries, it's revealed to be her own burning heart.
Her heart.
Yes. And blood drops trickle from it with every step she takes. The mystery becomes clearer. She's a personification of love.
Love. But she represents desolation and anguish, too.
Exactly. It's a love that is inseparable from eternal suffering. And seeing this, understanding this paradox, transforms the speaker's emotion again. Not to hope, not back to numbness, but to mad rage.
Rage. Why rage?
Perhaps rage at the cruelty of love, or rage at his own exclusion, or rage at the cosmos that allows such a thing. It's potent.
So what happens at the climax of this encounter?
It's devastating. The tide comes in and sweeps the woman and the unconscious me, the body, away into the sea.
Go on.
Swept away, leaving the conscious I, the observer self, completely alone on the shore, feeling vile and forlorn.
Just left behind.
Left behind. And the realization hits him. Not even the entire ocean can put out the fire of her burning heart, nor can it wash those two apart. Their love, this agonizing connection between the woman and his other self, is a doomed eternal constant.
Wow. So they're locked together in suffering beyond hope and fear.
Precisely. They've entered a different state, a fixed fate. But the conscious I is outside of it, looking on.
Which leads to that final crushing question.
The final question, but what do I hear?
Yeah, what's the point of my existence?
Exactly. What's the meaning of being the conscious observer, excluded from the defining experience, even if that experience is torment? Our sources suggest this state of meaningless observation is actually worse than the act of suffering. It's a profound loneliness.
So if we just quickly recap the key themes from Thomson based on our sources, we've got absolute despair, this stoicism born of hopelessness, a really complex paradox of love, agony, and beauty tied together.
Right, the fragmentation of the self.
And this sense of a cold, indifferent universe, cosmic indifference.
Yeah, that covers the core of it. And interestingly, as the speaker wanders this builded desolation, this nightmarish city, there are these resonances, these echoes, with broader societal issues. Now, Thomson wasn't quoting Marx directly or anything.
No, okay.
But our sources point out how the poem's atmosphere, this metropolitan insomniac's experience in lonely streets, the sense of alienation in a constructed urban wasteland, really connects with, say, Marxist critiques of capitalism.
The alienation of industrial society.
Precisely. It's a powerful way poetry can reflect how these large-scale social structures, like industrialization and city life, can filter down and manifest as deep individual existential despair. It gives us a lens on modern alienation, too, even today.
That's a fascinating connection. Okay, let's shift gears dramatically now.
Big shift coming up.
Huge shift from that incredibly bleak internal landscape. We're going to James Clarence Mangan's Dark Rosaleen. And what a contrast. It's like going from night to day almost. From utter despair, we're suddenly soaring into this passionate, unwavering devotion.
Absolutely. The energy is completely different.
The central metaphor here seems pretty clear, right? Dark Rosaleen. The sources say it's a transparent and uncontested metaphor for Ireland.
Yeah, no mystery there. Ireland itself, enfleshed as a beautiful woman in need of rescue.
And the relationship is described as, well, not like a mother or father figure.
No, it's framed very differently. The sources highlight it as erotic, not filial. It's the passion of a lover for the beloved, the patriot for the nation as woman, rather than a child for a parent.
Interesting distinction.
Yeah.
And you really feel that intensity in the lines.
Oh, absolutely. The speaker's commitment just pours out. He says things like, "Over hills and through dales have I roamed for your sake."
So constant effort, constant movement.
Yes, and he claims, "I could scale the blue air, I could plow the high hills." It's this almost superhuman willingness to do anything, endure anything.
Total dedication.
Total. He even says, "All my strength shall be thine, and my spirit be thine." It's a complete giving over of the self. But unlike Thomson's speaker losing himself to despair, this is losing oneself in absolute loyalty, purposeful sacrifice.
That really captures that unwavering devotion theme. Sacrifice, hope, defiance, even when things are bad.
Right. Defiance amidst suffering is key. And the promise of eventual triumph. Despite the current woe and pain, he's absolutely certain, vowing to rear your throne again in golden sheen.
A future victory.
A guaranteed future victory in his eyes.
Now, this poem isn't just floating in space, is it? It's deeply tied to its time.
Oh, very much so. Mangan was an Irish Catholic, and Dark Rosaleen is, well, explicitly linked to the political currents of 19th century Ireland, specifically Irish nationalism.
Okay.
It actually got a huge boost by being published in John Mitchell's newspaper, The United Irishman.
And that publication was significant.
Very. It was strongly associated with the Great Famine period and quite militant nationalist sentiment. So platforming Dark Rosaleen there really cemented its place and Mangan's legacy as a powerful voice for that cause.
It's interesting, though. The sources give us a bit more background on Mangan himself. He wasn't just a straightforward nationalist poet.
No, he was more complex, described as a critical fellow traveler of the movement. He had this very individualistic streak, quite unorthodox.
Unorthodox how?
Well, for one thing, he didn't actually speak Irish. He apparently relied on a translation by Eugene O'Curry to create his famous English version of Dark Rosaleen, which was based on an older Gaelic poem.
Really? That's surprising.
It is. And it points to some of his other quirks. He had these proto-modernist traits.
Proto-modernist. What does that mean in his case?
It means he had characteristics that kind of foreshadowed later modern art movements, ways of challenging tradition. He used irony a lot, sometimes published anonymously, was accused of plagiarism, even pulled off literary hoaxes, apparently sometimes attacking work he'd secretly written himself.
Wow, playing games.
Yeah, sort of playing the fool, but the sources suggest it was often for a singular audience himself. He had this unique position about, like, without moralism, with morals, without parochialism, with nationality, a very distinct individual voice navigating a really complex time.
That adds another layer.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've done these two deep dives now. Thomson's City of Dreadful Night, pulling us into this soul-crushing despair, and Mangan's Dark Rosaleen igniting this fire of hope and passionate devotion. If we put them right next to each other, what are the biggest contrasts that jump out?
It really is striking seeing them side by side. The relationship is almost perfectly inverse.
Okay, let's break it down. Emotional core.
Thomson. Absolute pervasive despair, isolation, leading to that numb stoicism, Mangan. Passionate, enduring hope, devotion, fueling action.
Right. And the role of love.
For Thomson, love is this agonizing force. It shatters his nihilism, yes, but leaves him excluded, suffering more deeply, perhaps. For Mangan, love for Rosaleen, for Ireland, is the engine. It's the motivation for huge sacrifice, and it guarantees eventual victory.
Okay. What about the speaker's self, their agency?
Big difference there. Thomson's speaker fragments splits into the passive I watching and the suffering me. He ends up just observing, forlorn, Mangan's speaker, totally unified, a single active agent, ready to do battle, ready to sacrifice everything.
Active versus passive.
Definitely. And their outlook. Thomson ends on that unanswerable, bleak question about meaninglessness. Mangan looks forward confidently to a triumphant future where Rosaleen Ireland will reign alone.
The settings, too, are completely different.
Totally. Thomson's is internal, surreal, apocalyptic, a desert, a seashore reflecting his mind. Mangan's is the actual Irish landscape, the hills, dales, rivers, lakes, the emerald bowers, but it's transformed, made sacred by his passion and the national struggle.
And the political context.
Thomson, as we said, isn't overtly political, but resonates with critiques of the social system, like capitalism and urban alienation. Mangan's is explicitly, directly political, a powerful allegory for Irish nationalism. And just to be clear for everyone listening, we're exploring the themes here as presented in the sources, not taking sides or endorsing any particular viewpoint ourselves.
Right, just reporting on the content.
Exactly. And finally, even their refrains, their mantras, show the contrast. Thomson has no hope could have no fear, detached, despairing. Mangan has the constant, fervent repetition of my dark Rosaleen. Possessive, passionate, full of loyalty.
That sums it up brilliantly. One finds meaning shattered, complicated by love's paradox, leaving isolation. The other finds ultimate meaning through unwavering love and loyalty, driving towards triumph. It really is a whole spectrum of human response in just two poems.
A spectrum captured in verse.
What an incredible journey that was through despair and defiance. We've really seen how two poets from the same era could see human existence through such completely different lenses. We hope you've gained a new appreciation for just how powerful poetry can be. how it can articulate these incredibly complex emotions, these deep societal currents, from, existential dread all the way to fiery nationalism.
Yeah, and these works really remind us, don't they? That our own emotional lives, our intellectual landscapes, they're often built from these kinds of contrasting experiences, facing the void with no hope, no fear.
Or pledging everything with lightning in my blood.
Right. The human spirit just finds these profound ways to articulate its deepest truths, whatever they may be.
Well, thank you for joining us on this deep dive today.
My pleasure.
And as you go about your day, maybe chew on this thought. When you face really profound challenges, where do you find yourself?
Yeah.
Do you lean towards that stoicism of hopelessness that Thomson explores? Or are you driven more by that defiant kind of love? Mangan portrays the kind that promises triumph eventually, even when things are tough right now, something to mull over.